Right, part 3, RPGs. We're going to start with Arranger. I'm just going to do a quick Google. It's the full name of that game. Arranger, a role-puzzling adventure. It's a trick. We're still on Sokoban games. Although it advertises itself as a as an RPG, so I've put it in this section. It's slightly different in that it is a story adventure, but your main interaction with the game is not moving the character, but you slide the rows the character is on, which is subtly different and will affect the puzzles, mainly because there are loads of other items often on the row with you, and how other items interact with each other is sort of how you solve the puzzles. There is a major narrative element. It's not the longest game in the world. I think I got it done in like 6 hours or something like that. The artist is the same person who did the art on Braid, although I don't think it has anything else to do with Braid, but it's just nice to see that art again. Yeah, I recommend. It is, I would say, a bit lighter than like the Sokobans, because it's not really a Sokoban game, it's a role puzzling adventure. It does have boss fights, so you have to solve at speed or while there's something else going on. It's all kind of turn based. There's interesting ideas here. It was a nice little fun little narrative thing. That was Arranger. Expedition 33. Do I really need to talk about Expedition 33? It's already lots of people's game of the year. I feel like I'd be just saying things that have already been said. I will say I was probably not quite as enamored with it as a lot of other people. I just play a lot of games and I play a lot of RPGs. So it's, for me, there hasn't been a 20-year gap since the last turn-based RPG. I played others this year, but yes, it is shorter than other JR. Well, it's not a JRPG. It is an RPG in the style of it, JRPG. The distinction is important to me, but yes, and it's French, that it's Western and not Japanese. It doesn't have those anime tropes I know people appreciate, but I do think they are still there. They're just a lot subtler. Although I will say, first I should say, the complicatedness of the combat, that everyone has this unique playing style, and then it's turn-based, but it's all shiny and everyone's playing it. Really like that. I really, I like that. It's bringing the genre back to the forefront, because people were embarrassed about that genre, apparently, ever since Final Fantasy VII. Why are they queuing up to hit each other? It's like, because it's a gameplay abstraction, get over it. And so that's all good. It's fun making broken, overpowered teams. I didn't quite dive into all the extra bosses and all that, because I played on the Xbox Game Pass, and then I wanted to get off that as quick as possible because I'm being trapped on that. But yeah, I did enjoy. The part of me, I like RPGs being quite long because you just get invested in the world. So if you know it's going to be over very quickly, a part of me is a bit like, oh well, why am I investing in these systems? So like, I like that they made a puzzle out of building your characters, but one of the reasons RPGs are stat related is because you're building, and yeah, that's illusory. Time is just going to give you those numbers, but it's just nice seeing the thing build over time. It's the same reason people play Minecraft. You build a building, but that's the same with the plot, because the plot is sort of hyper focused on this one thing. They did quite well of having an interesting story that's arguably better than a lot of JRPGs, but there isn't a world for them to really interact with. There's no other people outside the original starting area, pretty much, apart from like monsters and the villains. And I like those things existing in RPGs, but none of that being different isn't a bad thing. I liked it very much. Final Fantasy 13 2. I am going to sell literally no one on this, but Final Fantasy 13 is one of the Final Fantasies. I'm told the average Final Fantasy fan is now 42, which is older than I am. Final Fantasy 13 is arguably the time when everyone's, well, you could say it's 12. It's around there, 10, 11, 12. Where people lost faith in the Final Fantasy as a franchise. Final Fantasy 13 had this, instead of being a turn-based system where, like, well, we know you're going to attack, so you use the attack. Well, we know the healer's going to heal, so healers heal. So instead of having the individual buttons to press, it said, oh, you have your roles, and you just switch between the roles, and the game will pick which abilities they'll do based on, like, if you've scanned an enemy, it will know it's weak to fire, and it will just do that for you. And you can see how that evolved from Final Fantasy 12 system, but the game takes 10 hours to get into it. So, like, there is something, the combat's good only 40 hours in, and, like, I know that's an eye-rolling statement, but it's true. Once you realise what they're doing with that, you go, oh, that's clever. It's too fast for you to choose the buttons, because you're having to constantly jump between them, juggle all the characters, and hope you build teams the right way. It's the meta control of the characters, and that's a really interesting idea. It is a shame it took so long to go into that system. So what 13.2 does is it just says it's basically the same system. We're just going to give you pretty much everything straight away. You can build whatever team you want. You don't have to faff around. The first game story was already wacky as fuck. I will say that the last hour of the Final Fantasy 13 sort of makes up for a lot of the story. You're like, suddenly a few things fall into place, and you're like, oh, that's actually, you were doing a thing. Oh my goodness, that's actually quite good. It's just sort of a shame they decided to use fucking falsy sort of terminology, and you had to open up a series of leaflets to understand the plot. 13.2 is not much better on that front. I don't understand the god cosmology at all. Now there's time travel, but it's wonderful Japanese time travel that just doesn't make any fucking sense at all, and I love that. It is a bit thin. You can tell their budget was not massive, so there's a cool cutscene in the beginning and there's a cool cutscene at the end, and we're reusing areas because of time travel, so you can go back and you change things. Ooh. But it's shorter than Final Fantasy 13 as well, and that's to its merit. I liked it. It's okay. I'm glad I finished it. We got to see different sides of the universe, but not really. I think we're going to move on. There's a monster collecting thing, so I always sort of move on from a lot of these because, one, I don't want to take too much time. I don't always take too much time. But the other thing, but when I do, I go, oh, I should have just mentioned that. I should have mentioned how to actually fucking play the game. You have two characters at the start. It's Noel and the girl from the first game who's requested the entire game. But now you have Pokemon as well, and the Pokemon's a sort of a cool idea, I guess. They just use the same powers as everyone else, but they have like a limited set of powers. You've got to hope you get the right ones, and just hoping you get the right ones is annoying as fuck because you might not. And I'm like, could you have a better system for them dropping, please? I got some Chocobos to fight for me, and that was great. But like, before they dropped, I was just like, I can't complete this game. It's physically impossible for me to defeat the final boss. I just don't have a strong enough team, and you need to have lots of bits and pieces, and I wasn't keen on that. There's some side quests that like aren't actually side quests; they're all mandatory because you're just not going to be able to complete the game if you don't do them. So it's just present them in the story order then. So I just do them. But yeah, that was a car. Final Fantasy 13-2. Ys Monstrum Nox. I should have put this last and I didn't. Ys is a series I've been slowly going through over the last few years. It was one of those ones that had always been recommended to me. Then I finally got round to playing them. There's like 3 different styles of game in the series. I'm going to talk about all of the Ys's because I've been meaning to anyway. The first 2 Ys's are from the like very early 90s, but I played like a sort of PSP remake of them, and it's about a guy called Adol Kristen because he is the chosen one, and it's not subtle. They all have Adol. He is like been a teenager for about 20 years now. He's saved the world on like 6 different occasions, and nobody fucking knows who he is because he saves the world, but like it seems to only really affect the local continent. It's charming. It's small and it's charming. So those first 2 games, I was doing a thing and then I changed my mind. You walk into enemies. That's how you fight, and because they were trying something different, and the second one they gave you a fireball to fling because somebody was just like, hang on, we've been here 10 hours. There's nothing more we can do with walking at kind of strange angles, because if you walk directly into a person, they'll hurt you as well. You got to walk into the side of the person. You've got to be at a slight angle. And the second game was like, okay, give him a ball that you can throw. But it's after that there were free PSP games, and you become like chibi 3D characters. I think they are actually 2D characters, but they're in a 3D world. And suddenly it's all about jumping and dodging and these free moves that have movement abilities on them. And these ones are quite good. They become quite difficult and tight. Apart from everything is incredibly married to the leveling up system. If you are stuck, make sure you buy all the items, and if you're still stuck, level up once or twice and you'll be fine. Like, the levels are so important to that game. They make such a difference to how much damage you do. So it's entirely possible to accidentally trivialize the game, but it's balanced reasonably well. Also, in this era, they all tend to have like mid-act twists, and I really enjoy those as well. They're also short games. They're like 10-20 hours. Like they grow over the years, and I just think they're really charming. E7, which is the first like next era game, is sort of that same system, but now you have a rock paper thing where you'll have 6 characters, 2 rocks, 2 papers, or 2 scissors, and you switch between them on the fly because they'll be good at fighting certain enemies, and they get loads of abilities, but you won't fucking know which abilities are good or not because the game doesn't really explain why all they're good. You sort of can vibe it by how much damage you think it does and the abilities, but you just kind of go, I guess I'll level up this one and hope it's a better one. It's new. So you're just sort of making the team based on vibes. As long as you have a rock and a paper and scissors, it should be fine. But like the end of E7, there's this bit where you've gone into like a crystal space. Every single JRPG has to end in crystal space, of course. And you're there for an hour, and then you've got to climb up a mountain. And that mountain takes about 40 minutes, and your team goes, go alone, we'll fight people. And you're like, I reckon we could have just taken them, but whatever, I'll go alone. And you fight the guy, and the game ends in like 2 hours rather than 10, which is what a Final Fantasy would do. And I just loved how quick and pacey and charming it was. And then Lacrimosa was just like, yeah, but what if there was 20 hours worth of extra padding? And I'm like, no. What if we cared? Like, what if we were more lofty with our goals? No, who gave you money? You shouldn't have money. You were good at being a charming small game. Lacrimosa does that thing was like, oh, did you like jump fighting? Well, now we're going to call you back to the base and you can just fight for no reason. It's like, well, I kind of like fighting because it moves the game along. Yeah, but now you're just doing it for no reason. Yay. Lacrimosa is all on an island, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about the hours worth of Monstrum Nox I played. Your vampires now. So that first game I mentioned way back 3 minutes ago, whenever it was, you defeat the baddie and you end magic forever. Magic is gone. And I'm like, how the fuck are they making sequels out of this? And the answer is, every place you go to has magic. It's just called something different. It's just like, oh fuck, we've written ourselves. Now you're vampires. Cool, go. No, they're not vampires, John. They're monstrums. It's all in a city rather than an island. So, like, 7 had this thing where you were mapping out the world, and it was just a tiny system, but I did kind of enjoy it. And the island of Lacrimosa does sort of double down on that. It's literally a lost island. But the Monstrum Nox is, I think, all in one massive city, and it's sort of that camera has been moving from over top just to behind them over the series of games. They've gotten more money. It's all flashy, and I like that. But if it's another Lacrimosa, I'm gonna enjoy it anyway. It started taking itself slightly too seriously with Lacrimosa. I think it was a different writer and it showed. But I can't really judge Monstrum Nox other than there are like 5 other monstrums, and they've all got disguises. You don't know what they look like in the real world. Apart from, it's really obvious who all of them are. And I'm like, am I supposed to not know? Like, she's got cat ears. It's obviously the one with cat ears. Like, what happened to the mid-game twists that the other games had? Like, have you forgotten how to do that? Anyway, I've literally only played like 2 hours of that game, but like, because I need to finish this next game before I can start. I need to finish games, start new ones. What is the final game? Well, it's Dragon Quest, isn't it? It's Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake. The reason I haven't finished it is a bit dry. I love the 3D 2D HD remake. It looks gorgeous. I want all the old games to be remade like this, especially if it's not too cheap and doesn't take too much work. And also, for a game so old, literally from the 80s, there are some interesting systems. You do a reincarnation thing where you have different classes. There's like 4 of you and you can level them up. But like you find a place where they're like, oh, you can half all your stats and start as a new class, so you still do that, but also then your team's a bit rubbish and you just have to grind the levels back up. But like, yeah, you can have interesting classes, which Final Fantasy sort of doesn't do. It experiments in completely different ways, which I do not have time to go into right now. But like, it's starting to get interesting. The problem is, the story isn't. There's a evil demon lord. Go get him. And then whenever you visit a town, there's a sort of little vignette about what's bad's going on. It's usually got something to do with the demon lord, but it's all kind of dry. And all the fights are trivial, apart from the boss fights where things can get interesting. So the later I get into the game, the more interesting I get. Again, there's that initial like, oh, look at the thing I'm playing, and there's a bit of a lot. I did install Cheat Engine just to have a fast forward button. Now I do like fights at 3 times speed. It already had a speed up button. It's just like, I need it to be 3 times faster, please. That is that's why people are playing Expedition 33, because the Dragon Quest. I get it. But there are things in between that as well. People made other games, it's just nobody fucking played them.